Good morning. It is 6:27 a.m. on Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Today is once again a proof of the adage that going to bed earlier makes you more tired in the morning. But of course, my explanation for that particular theory, at least when it concerns me personally, is that I don't go to bed early unless I am already sufficiently sleep deprived that I feel tired more early in the evening than typical, in which case the slight amount of extra sleep that I get from doing that is not enough to make up the difference. And so there you have it. That's my personal theory as to what's going on. The evidence, however, is undeniable that I am really groggy this morning. Need some caffeine. Um, I haven't got bored with Pokemon Go yet. Uh, I mean, there's aspects of it that are still a little unclear. For example, there's a lot of mechanics like how to train or fight or whatever at the gym. It's kind of a bunch of things happen on the screen, and you can make other things happen by touching and swiping, and none of it is at all clear. Like yesterday, I went and it was a blue gym, and I was the blue team, but it let me fight anyway, which I gathered was going to be so like gyms have a prestige level, I think. And so what I was thinking is that like if I'm blue team and I put up a good showing on the blue gym, that will increase the gym's prestige and make it harder to switch to the different colors. My understanding of how that works approximately. But basically, like what happened is that there was another Pokemon there that was way more powerful than mine. And I dodged around and attacked a couple of times, but basically got annihilated. And then a little graphic came up that said, "You won." I'm like, "What? How did I win? I don't understand." And then later I tried again, and that time it wanted me to pick a team of 6 Pokemon that all in turn attacked one way more powerful one. Now maybe that would have been a team of 6 too, except that I just wasn't even able to defeat even one of them. I'm still low level compared to the people who are like really aggressively taking over gyms, I guess. But yeah, I was just kind of like, I'm I'm unclear as to the process here. Anyway, I'm also continuing with replaying Virtue's Last Reward, which, as I've discussed before, is the second game in the Zero Escape trilogy. I've gotten to the first point where the game's mechanic, overarching mechanic, becomes clear, which is it's established a little bit in the first game, but is more of a thing in the second game. The idea that it's like a choose your own adventure where you're making various choices over the course of the story of the game, and those choices essentially, like, without getting into the story spoilers, basically it'll determine, like, well, does your character go and search the rec room or the the study, right? And so depending on which way you go, you'll get different clues, and you don't ever get to go back. Like, so your choices have a permanent effect on the story, and your and result in a very specifically limited view of what's going on. And so you make your way through, and then eventually you will come to some ending point, and everything seems like, and pretty much most of the endings are awful, just like all those old choose your own adventure ones. But kind of like those old choose your own adventure books, what you do when you get um, an ending is you say, oh, okay, well, let me now flip back to that last choice I made and see what happens if I had made the other choice, right? Well, this game builds that idea into like making that like that's actually part of the game. And the idea is that literally the only way to get the good ending is to learn what you need to know from every single other pathway. So, like, there might be an ending where if you go this way, you and everybody else you're with are going to get gruesomely murdered. But before that happens, you'll get a clue. And later in the game, you will, in order to get the good ending, you will need to have that clue even though you didn't go into that room. And so the idea, and it builds all this into the story, this idea of these multiple timelines all sort of psychically feeding each other. And so by the time you get to the final ending, you only have the full picture by having gone through all of these different pathways. And so you need to have the full picture in order to get the real ending. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. It is a lot of reading. I mean, it's visual novel style. So just that's not to everybody's taste, but uh, I really like it. So last night I got to the first like ending point where it has an ending, and then it brings up basically a flow chart that shows the various places where I made branching decisions, and now I can go back to each of those points and explore the other pathway, and it just shows it all in a flow chart. It's pretty handy. All right, so oh, 7 minutes already. All right, I guess I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.